Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. I know I haven't posted a video in a long time, but I'm going to try to bring the channel back active for you guys. This is going to be kind of like, I guess, a new series we're going to be trying to do. Basically, doing post-game reviews for certain stuff. Uh, just definitely want to see you guys reaction to it. If you like this, if you want me to talk about specific NFL teams, I can go back, watch the games if I haven't. I'm mostly gonna be speaking on the teams that I have watched and that I personally follow. So that'll be probably the Seahawks and the Steelers mostly, and then if there's something else that I do catch, like on the other national games, like tonight, I think the Broncos play the. Who do the Broncos play tonight? I feel like I should know this by now. Yeah, they play the Cleveland Browns, so a team in the Steelers division. Although they're not really in it, I can talk about that video for you guys. I can talk about that game for you guys, and if it's definitely a good game, I'll be watching, and we can definitely do a video about it. But enough of that. Let's get to the real meat and potatoes of why we're here. So, I feel like I want to start off with the defense first because they are the strength of this team, but they did not have the best. Uh, they didn't have the best showing yesterday, and it's tough because you are going against an elite offense, but at the same time, you like for your defense to maybe make some more plays than they did, but in my opinion, they made just enough plays for the Steelers to win, and I think that's very important because the thing with the Steelers is that they've been winning games in a lot of different ways. So I can go through some of them right now. The Falcons game, they won that with. Did they score a touchdown in that one? I'm not too sure. Player stats. No, it doesn't look like they scored a touchdown. Okay, this might have been the first game where they won by kicking field goals. So that's a game where your defense dominated and your special teams dominated. Second game of the season, Justin Fields had one touchdown. Running game looked good. And the defense did what they were supposed to do, holding the team to 6 points. You're gonna win games. You're gonna win a lot of games by doing that. By the way, if that continues, if that happens, Chargers game, they scored a couple touchdowns. Played good defense. Colts game, they did lose. They lost by 3 points. I don't remember this game very well, but I know they were playing a lot from behind, and Joe Flacco for some reason had a lot of success against the defense. And then they had another loss to the Cowboys, where it was basically like the last drive where they lost on not too big of a deal. And then you got the Raiders, which they blew them out, 32 points. Complete team game. You see the Raiders are only scoring 13 points. Very good defense being played, a lot of points being put up on the board. Very good stuff from everybody. And then we have the Jets game, which was the first game where Russ was inserted as a starter. 15 points the defense gave up. 37 we offense scored. Very good performance by the team. Uh, Basically, what I'm trying to say is just see different type of games where look at the Commanders game. They come back to win the game. They need a game-winning drive to win that game. Versus the Ravens, the first division game they play and uh, that they played and basically won that game with just field goal. And of course, the Browns game, you'd ideally love to win this game because then if you did win this game, you would have controlled your destiny for the number one seed. But of course, the weather didn't wasn't on their side, unfortunately. Even though both teams were affected by the weather, but when you're kind of chasing the game, it didn't help. Yeah, basically, this was a good result. But at the same time, I felt like they this game was so weird. Like you just kind of chalk it up to like if this game is played on any other type of day, the Steelers probably win. But yeah, let's get back to the main game. Basically, what my point was trying to say is that the Steelers are winning games in a lot of different ways, and this game was the first type of game that they won off of, which was a shootout, in my opinion, where both teams were going back and forth. You see Joe Burrow here; he had uh, 309 yards with 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. I believe he had a fumble or something like that. Yeah, he did have one fumble. I don't know if he had two or one because he did have 3 turnovers, right? And then we're just looking at the team stats. Total yards, Steelers defense gave up 375, 282 passing, and 93 rushing yards, which is around 6.6 yards per play. Gave up 25 first down. They were 4 of 8 on third down. Didn't go for anything on fourth down. Um, we had 4 sacks and we forced them to punt them twice, and they did have 2 fumbles, and they had 1 pick. And then time of possession battle was 31 minutes basically to the Steelers versus the Bengals 29. So very good. Some of these stats are good in terms of the turnovers, the time of possession, the sacks. Uh, Now, when you look at the first downs, you should not. No team wants to give up this many first downs and this, especially at the rate that they were doing it. But you got to give credit to the Bengals, in my opinion. They have a very good offense, led by Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, very good, and Chase Brown, the running back. Those guys can play with anybody. They went to a Super Bowl for a reason with that core, except the running back. But that core, the core of their team went to the Super Bowl. Their line has improved a little bit. I don't want to say that they're trash, but they did some good stuff yesterday. So, in my opinion, I wasn't really too mad at the defense. I would have been mad at the defense if they did not give the offense a chance to win the game. But when you're able to come up with the big plays, I think that's enough. I think they did enough. Obviously, you don't want to give up 38 points and all this and all that, but just giving your team the chance to win is more important to me than them not shutting them out. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's what I'm trying to communicate. Like I like that when the Steelers offense needed the ball back in key times in the game, the defense was able to give it to them, and then yeah. So wow, I just looked at the stat. The Steelers punted once yesterday. That's insane. But yeah, the Bengals defense is, of course, we all know it's not good. There's multiple times where you're watching the game and guys are just scheming wide open. And I want to talk about, I guess the way I should do it is we're going to do the 3 stars of the game. The first guy I want to talk about is Cam Hayward. The guy is probably the best player on the defense right now. He's dominating. I know TJ Watt should be the best guy, but the way Cam Hayward has been playing this season has been insane. He's been great against the run, and as a pass rusher, he's shown that he still got it. Created a lot of pressures the other day, and what I'm seeing from him, it's seeing guys like Cam Hayward, like the older guys on the team, that really wants me to see this team win a Super Bowl because these guys have competed for a long time, and they're not getting any older. I know Cam has like got a new contract over the summer, but like it feels like this is the time. Like this is the perfect time. Like the Chiefs aren't playing too well. I know the Lions are the Lions and the Eagles are the Eagles in the NFC, but I feel like this is a time that the Steelers need to capitalize on where not everyone is that strong. Where like I feel like teams are just in the NFL this year. So I feel like I would really love, but like when I see guys like Cam Hayward balling out after coming back from injury, you're just like, man, I really hope that we can get this guy one because this level of play cannot go to waste. And it's the same thing that you see from my second start of the game with Russell Wilson. We've seen him struggle for the past 2 years. We don't know if this is just an anomaly that he's back for one more year. And you say, like, like he's gonna have to get paid next year, and like it feels like everything has been blended perfectly for the Steelers. Like they have a cheap quarterback room. When do you ever have that outside of when your quarterback is on a rookie contract? You are able to get a star veteran quarterback on a cheap contract because of the curly of the past situation of the Broncos, and then Justin Fields also was traded. So while he was on his rookie contract, so he's also cheap. He got you 4 wins to start the game, to start the season, and he was key in the start that the Steelers had. So I feel like you have the cheap, like if we look at the teams that have recently, like the formula to kind of win the Super Bowl or build your team correctly, it's you kind of have like the cheap offense. I want to say their whole O line is basically on rookie contract outside of the left guard. Pickens, excuse me, rookie contract. Calvin Austin, rookie contract. Pat Fryermuth is on a new contract, but he's not making. Titans don't make that much money that your whole cap space is going to be affected by it. The majority of the Steelers have a cheap offense, and the majority of the cap space have gone to the defense to guys like Minka Fitzpatrick, T.J. Watt, Cam Hayward, Patrick Queen, even your star corner Joey Porter, excuse me, Joey Porter Jr. is on a rookie contract. So do you see what I mean? Like you have a bunch of guys that are like it's like the perfect blend of vets that are on good contract and not insane contracts, and then you have the rookies who you have the young players who are still on rookie contracts, but they're playing above their means, and they're all in a year or two they're gonna expect to be paid. And this is the time like you strike when the iron is hot. The iron is currently hot, and I feel like the Steelers cannot let this chance go away. And I'm watching this team like they're playing so like I don't want to say perfectly, but you love what you're seeing from them, in my opinion. So, but yeah, let me go back to speaking on Russ real quick. Very good to see him bouncing back from his Denver days. I'm sure he never wants to talk about those days. I know he's probably make the most money of his career when playing for the Broncos, but I'm sure he'd give that money up in a second just to have been played in average at an average level because what we saw from him, we thought he was out the league. But now you look at him, he's leading offense that's scoring 44 points and has over 520 yards. The guy had 410 passing yards. That's his second most in his career, and I believe he's been in the league for 12 to 13 years now. So that's just insane to think about. 110 rushing yards. You know the Steelers want to run the ball. They were able to do that. They had 28 first downs. They were 4-9 on third down efficiency. Only 2 sacks were allowed. I feel like it's only one because one of them, Russ, kind of slid down when he was getting pressured and he didn't want to put the ball at risk, which is a good play by him. They did have a lot of penalties. That's something you want to see clean up. Joey Porter Jr. He got called for a bunch, but and I think Pickens got like 2 or 3 of those. So yeah, and then the one pick that Russ threw should have been an interception. We all saw the play where the corner is literally grabbing George Pickens' helmet as he's falling down, and then unfortunately Russ threw the ball in terms of anticipating the slant route, and unfortunately didn't go their way. But that's what happens in certain games. But and then the third key player of the game I want to talk about. It's not another player. It's a coach, Arthur Smith. The game that he called was brilliant in my opinion. The Bengals were running a lot of cover twos, and their linebackers are kind of playing very way too deep than they were supposed to. So you know what Arthur Smith was did? He dialed up screenplays to slow down Trey Hendrickson. He called a lot of plays for us to throw to the middle of the field. If I can get his passing chart, that'll be great. Russell Wilson passing chart. Uh, uh, I did just see it earlier. This is not the correct one. Sorry, give me 1 second. There we go. Look at all those dots in the middle of the field. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You have at least 12, including the two of his touchdowns. That's what you want to see against cover two. He took the deep shots when they were there, didn't attempt too many against cover two, and that's the one thing that we kind of wanted to see how. That's one thing I wanted to see how they would adjust when teams started playing cover two, so they were when they were taking. If you don't know, cover two basically takes the deep balls away because they're playing two safeties or two defensive backs post snap, and basically are helping out the corners, and they're helping them take away the deep part of the field. So yeah, which then allows you to kind of run the ball because you're playing against lighter boxes. So that's the one thing the Steelers were able to do. They had over 100 rushing yards, and then you see how Russ is just picking that middle of the field. One, two, three, four, five. He's just throwing some dots to Najee, to 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 anybody who was in that area really, and that's something that I really wanted to see, and that's a credit to Arthur Smith because that's a very good plan against a defense that Russ has struggled against in the past. So yeah, I want to give credit to them. Mike Tomlin, I feel like he could have been better with his timeout usage, but even then, it wasn't that terrible like what we saw from the Chicago Bears and what was it again, and the Raiders this past week. But we were still able to get points in key situation. Double dip before the first half, double dip in the first half and at the end of the first half and the beginning of the second half. And once you do that, you really start to put teams away. You see we scored 20 points in the second quarter and then 7 points in the third quarter. Once you start doing that, you kind of start pulling away from teams, and then you add another 10 in the fourth quarter, and you get your 44 right there. The offense executed the game plan perfectly. There's nothing you can really complain about. Though, if you would have be a petty person and complain about something on offense yesterday, it'll probably be George Pickens because of the penalties he got. But I thought the O line played great. The two guys I want to shout out specifically, Dan Moore Jr., Zach Frazier, and then Broderick Jones. Not even just for his play, for his for the leadership that he showed when George Pickens was doing dumb shit. Sorry for my language. One of the first people you went to see talk to him was his former college teammate, Broderick Jones. He was able to help calm him down as much as he can and just get him back into the game. And I thought the whole O line played fantastically. You look at some of the run blocking they had uh, for for the for the runs that they were able to spring off, especially the touchdown, the Russian touchdown that Najee had. Brilliant blocking. I know, and I think the only person that didn't have a catch on offense was Connor Hayward, who was kind of like a fullback, and what's it called? What's his name again? Mike Williams. Obviously, you want to see Mike Williams get involved, but like I said, when you're playing cover two, you're getting that deep field part of the game getting taken away. You see Russ only threw basically one big deep ball, and that was to George Pickens. Like, ideally, you don't really want to throw a lot of those balls against cover two, but I guess he had the chance there, so he did throw it there. But when teams do stop playing cover two, I do expect Mike Williams to have a bigger involvement in the offense. But yeah, like I said, the defense didn't play well, but you want to kind of see the Steelers kind of win games in a different way. And this was the first time they had the opportunity to win a game in a shootout, and that's what they did. Next week, I expect the defense to bounce back and to hold the Cleveland Browns to under 14 points and to get back to the way that they know that they can play. And I expect the offense to play well. And I expect, matter of fact, I expect a full team performance because we lost to them. The Cleveland Browns were talking a lot of shit on Twitter, on Instagram, on social media. So guess what? The whole team needs to bounce back. We shouldn't have lost that game, but guess what? We did. Now it's time to bounce back. Myles Garrett is talking crazy about this and that. Now it's time to bounce back. TJ Watt, I'm looking at him specifically. I expect a big game from him, especially with the way Garrett was playing. And yeah, like I said, very good team performance. Defense could have played better, but they played well in key moments, and that matters a lot also. Because if you don't do that, then the offense doesn't. Because the offense basically gave the Bengals 7 points. Like after the, so like the defense had to come up with like one or two more stops for us to be able to win that game, and they did. Credit to the offense, credit to Arthur Smith, the coaching staff for whoever came up with the game plan. Credit to the players who are going out there and executing it. But yeah, I know the defense is gonna bounce back next week. You guys didn't stop being too hard on them. This is the NFL. The other team gets paid a lot of money, especially especially the Bengals offense. The Bengals offense is probably one of the best, probably the best offense remaining that the Steelers are gonna play, and that leaves you in a good place in my opinion. Let's win out. Let's go do some things that no one expected us to go do, in my opinion, and let's go ahead and dominate. We got the Cleveland Browns next, and let's see what we can do. Yeah, this is kind of my first video back in a second, so I know I was kind of everywhere. But if you guys did like this video, drop a comment, drop a like. Uh, the videos will continue to get better and better as I get more into rhythm and stuff like that. But if you guys did like this video, like I said, drop a comment, drop a like, share it to your friends, and we'll be back next week. We'll be back sometime this week to preview the game, and I hope to see you guys there.